going to be like smoking my pen, you know, because I need to get them all to elite status. But I've always really loved building the pinks and the blues, because y'all do realize building pinks build blues, and pinks and blues build greens, and greens move y'all from orange status to purple status to black status. So I think whenever you enroll people, y'all get so caught up, and I've done it too. You're like, oh my gosh, this girl's, she's amazing. She sold $2,500. You know, she's enrolling 5 people, and you're like, she's my next elite. But you forget, like, to move people to the steps, and then underneath those people that are your rock stars, helping them do the pinks and the blues. Because the difference in people getting from pink to blue status, that exemplary status, to the elite status, is those people learn to build, or you, within them, more pinks and blues. Okay, you don't almost get to pink and blue status alone. A lot of y'all might have done that, like just yourself, and maybe, you know, you did the way. But to get to green status, unless you're Kara Lewis Newton, which I'm not, you're not getting the green status alone. Okay, how many of y'all? Oh, and Jordan, she can sell like 8,000 a month. Okay, but the average of us, we can't do that. You know, you have to have a team and be able to build these other leadership levels. So here's what I do. So get your pen and paper out, because I want y'all to actually write this down, because this is exactly what I do, and it's super simple, and this is stuff that all the people above me have done, all the people below me on my team that are black. We've all done this. But first of all, you're just going to go into your circle and you just identify people. And I know sometimes you want every single person on your team. You want them to want it. You want to give your time to everyone. But if you can identify the people on your team that you really should hone in and work with, it's going to change everything for you. So identify them by just doing this. I look at the last month's PRS. Okay, I go look at, so it's October, I would look at September. I do 250, 500, 1,000, and these are all in columns. So 250, 500, 1,000, and then I make another column. And I do this every month, still to this day. Okay, but this is how I got myself to black too. Like, I identify who to work with. Not that I don't work with everyone, but y'all do realize, like, if you work with everyone, every minute away that I'm talking to someone is a minute away from my family. So do you remember that? Like, it's not that people aren't worthy of your time. You're still there for people, but who are you going to hone in on? That's what this is. So the 250, 500, 1,000 in the other column. The next thing, which we've talked about so much today, and I didn't even know we were going to be talking about this. I had not seen any of the corporate slides. But I truly believe you have to inspire people. So, like, we were talking about it over here at my table, and how important, I think all of you here have people under you on your team that actually they could be black, they could be elite. There's just a connection that hasn't been made yet. I actually believe all of us, including myself, have had plenty of people on our team at some point or the other that could have been elite, could have been black. For whatever reason, they're not with us anymore because they fizzled out, whatever happened. But I think so many of us miss this step. And this is the most important step, I believe, out of all this. So you're going to identify people, and this is what I do. Anyone that sells $250, I shoot them a quick message. I'm not talking about pouring sentences out to them. Please don't word vomit on your people. But I just send them just a really quick, hey girl, you sold $250 last month. You're incredible. Thank you so much for being here. Okay? I don't think 250 is anything huge. I mean, it's not, but 250s add up. Okay? So I want those people to stick around. I want them to keep doing what they're doing. Okay? But then my 500s and my 1000s, they get a little bit more personalized message from me. And I just say something like, so we were talking about making people feel good and giving them that confidence, and that's what I try to do. And I will say, Whitney, for myself even, whenever she enrolled me, Whitney's my sponsor, I went green my first month, okay? First month in Unique, I enrolled 11 people, I had a team of 22 by the end of that month. But here's the deal, y'all, I remember enrolling and selling like crazy, and her being like, Lauren, no one does this, you're really different, and I was like, really? Because in my mind, I'm like, why would someone not be selling $1,000 in the first week? I just, I would think everyone did it, and so when she told me that, I was like, okay, maybe I'm different, maybe I'm I'm a little better. But it gave me confidence, and that's what kept me going. Because y'all, I'll tell y'all, if you don't know, and I'm going to talk a lot more about this tomorrow, so y'all all better be there tomorrow. I'm serious, skipping out, going out, and getting, everyone needs to be there tomorrow. Okay? So much of what I'm saying tomorrow, I want y'all to hear too. Because I had been through the ringer with, through some stuff. My second month in Unique, we didn't have mascara, and that's all we had. But that confidence that she instilled in me kept me going. I didn't fizzle out. I kept going. I had to lead again. But I want you to understand, that's why I think it's so important that you inspire your people and let them know and give them confidence, that they're better than, I hate to say better than others, but, so what I do is I message my people and I say something like, Hey Susan, you sold $500 last month. I cannot believe that. Hardly anyone has done that. Like, do you know what pink status is? Do you want some of that residual income? You know, I just ask about 2 or 3 sentences, just like that. So I inspire them and I ask. And I do that with my thousands. I add all kinds of emojis, you know, all that stuff. I'm huge into emojis. Emojis speak tone to me. Because like I can write someone something and it can come off one way, but if I put some smiley faces and some hearts, it comes off in a loving manner, you know? So that's how I speak to people, is with emojis. But I do that for my 500s and my thousands and my other column. My other column is like, you'll have your leaderboard. So you've got those girls that enrolled 5 or 6 in 1 month, or 10, or they're on your leaderboard for sponsoring people and getting all those people really going and having that high leader category. That might be someone that's in your other category. So you just write them and say, dude, you're amazing. Like, no one else is doing this. And you don't need to have thousands of people on your team for you to identify someone that's different. You know, I mean, this works for any team size. People just need to know and have that confidence. It's so funny that y'all talked about this today. That's all that is confidence. And I really believe it's the key to this business. Because you've got to have a lot of confidence to keep, you know, because things happen and we get beat down a lot. So I inspire them and I ask them. So again, whenever I message them, I'm saying, you know, hey Susan, you know, you killed it, 500, da 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 da. I say, do you know what pink status is? Do you even want that residual income? I ask them. And then I wait for a response. You have to wait. I've talked to girls about this, and what they'll do is they'll ask and they'll send the test. And it's not a real test. It's not like a unique IQ or anything like that. But the test is basically, how many of y'all have read Big Al's Network Marketing, Building Network Marketing Leaders, okay? So you'll know about the test. Like, you give people this test, and that's just to see if they're, because okay, I'll tell you, probably 90% of the people you do this with are gonna tell you, they're gonna say, oh yeah, I do want it, and I wanna make 50 grand a month, and I wanna be Black Status 3, and like, everyone wants this business, okay? And everyone can have it, but not everyone will, okay? And that's what this test does, okay? All your girls are gonna want it. Yeah, they're gonna want pink. Yeah, they're gonna want, you know, black. So the test, and all I do is I have a follow-up video. It's 9 minutes long, and follow-ups to me are probably how I would say 80 to 90% of my business, the people I've sponsored, are from follow-ups. I try to make every single customer a presenter. So follow-ups are really big key in what I teach to my girls. So you may have something different that you really do. So I have a video and it's 9 minutes long. So when they respond back to me, like, oh my gosh, yes, I want to get pink. Yeah, I would love to get pink, and you know, let's do this. I'm like, okay, I'm sending you a video. It's 9 minutes long. I'll message you tomorrow night, and then let's do this. I'm so excited. This is exactly what I do. And I just send them that video. So that's the test. And I'll tell you, if you cannot just send them a video that you don't do. If you're here in this room and there's your team, I promise you, because you can think about your own upline. How many, well, don't raise your hands, but like if you've got an upline and she tries to tell you something you should be doing for your business, you probably in your mind think to yourself, well, is she doing this? You know, like, depend if you're really going to even listen to her. So please remember that. So if you send a follow-up video or a duplication video or however you do it, it needs to be something that you're actually doing and applying in your business. But, okay, so then you test them, and then from there, the next day, you have to actually message them. You can't say I'm going to message you and be a flake and not message them. You just message them. Say, hey, did you watch it? Okay, let's do this. Let's do it together. I always try to use a lot of let's and we's, because I don't want to come off as like, okay, you do this, you do that. Like, I do let's and we's all the time, because I want my girls to know that I'm doing it too. Obviously, my follow-up video, they know I'm doing it because I talk about it. And, you know, I do follow-up blitzes with my girls and all of this kind of stuff. But they have to know that I'm doing it with them. And from there, we call it the mentoring and the BFF stage. Do y'all know Carly Reeves? Okay. Well, she is on my team. I got really lucky with her because she taught me how to biffle with everyone. Now, I've always been okay with relationships, but like another book, have y'all read MLM Personalities by Big Al? Yeah, I just read that book, and I'm really green. I'm really red too, but I'm really green too. Like, so people and relationships, it's a challenge for me. But she's really, really taught me about the BFF stage. You know, and I obviously have this amazing table of leaders up here, so I did something right even before she came around. But still, she has taught me so much of this BFF stuff. I got it from her. And so once they pass this test and we go into that quote mentoring stage, it's really just, and I put it in this order, one-on-one, whether that's on the phone, but again, I'm a green personality, so I don't want to talk on the phone. So please don't call all your girls that pass the test, because they may not want to talk on the phone. Me, my phone rings, I'm not a phone talker. Is anyone else not a phone talker? Oh yeah, that's why this business is so good for us. And in person, people say, oh, in-home party, I'll like run for the hills. I'm like, no, I'm sick. Yeah, I'm sick that day. So, okay, I did one-on-one, and then I do chat. So if I have like four to 6 girls that, you know, I've messaged from my circle, and they pass that test. I hate to say pass the test, but you really do need to know who's really serious, because again, they all want it. It's just a matter of who actually is going to work for it, you know. So sometimes I'll do a chat with those girls, you know, but I'll also have a one-on-one time with them, getting to know them. But really, the chats are really good too, because then they can kind of run together. You know, when I'm busy, they're together. And then the next step, which again, and that's in order of importance. I do believe one-on-one is the most crucial. Then a chat group, but then a group. Like right now, I have a group that it has like 100 and something people in it. I teamed up with some other blacks to do it, so we did a group, because obviously no one would stay in a chat with 100 people in it, you know. Some of my chats with 10 people, I can mute them all. Okay, so people always say, okay, well, what are you doing these? Like, what is it that you're actually giving? Like, what, I don't, you know, because I get asked all the time, like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to give them. And really and truly, I'd say the biggest thing here is the running buddy and doing it with them. Y'all, there's no difference getting really to pink and blue status than getting the black. Like, it's all the same stuff. You should be booking parties with them, doing follow-ups, planting seeds, offering opportunity, all the things that we teach them to do that you're trying to get them to do, you should be doing. So what I try to do in mine, and in like we call it Building Leaders group, we do it with them. So like, we'll schedule a night and we'll do like a Zoom call with some of them. And we'll get on there and we'll do it with them. Like, I did 35 messages the other night with some of my girls, planting seeds, using, you know, the 3 C's and all that stuff, offering opportunity. So I give them the tools and the tasks, you know, how to do it, how I do it, but they know I'm doing it with them. Because a lot of times I'm like, hey, let's do it together. Or we've done a party booking blitz in there. So again, if it scares you to work your own business, this is not going to work for you. This is truly, just like, it's the same thing like, you know, I told you, everyone wants it. That goes for this room too. We all want it. I want it to be Black Status 1, you know, but I have to work for it. Y'all do too. And your teams will know if you're not working for it. But also in that mentoring and BFF stage, you want to know about their life. Where they work, what are their kids' names, listen to their days. You want to get to know them. I think sometimes we keep it so business. And I've been there. I've been guilty. Like, I have literally had to change the way I've done things. I mean, I would say I did okay not being super, you know, life. But it's hard for me, because that is one of my weaknesses, is really building these strong relationships with people. That you want to talk life, you want to know about their kids. It's okay. I've had girls that have made chats before, and they come to me like, we're in the chat, they just won't stop talking about dirty diapers and all this stuff. I'm like, that's good. That's bonding. That's what you want. You know, I'm like, that. My best people, the best people on my team are all in these chats together usually, and they talk very rarely about unique. Like, I mean, here and there, but it's a sisterhood. So when I went to Unified forever ago, Derek said to us, he asked us, he said, what's the #1 reason people will stay with a company? And we all just sat there. I was like, I don't know, products, you know, I don't know. And he said it was sisterhood. I was like, oh. So that's when I realized, and that's when Rob talked about communities. Like, you want these communities of people, and it doesn't all have to be unique. Like, you want them to make these communities. So if you make these chats, don't get annoyed just because everyone's having a good time in there and they're not just sitting around talking about unique. They are running together, and people will stay in this company and versus leaving for other companies because they have a sisterhood, okay? And I'm sure a lot of y'all thought that. I don't know if all of y'all have communities, but I try to make, and when you're wrapping your arms around them and making a community, they'll do the same to their girls, okay? Whatever you do passes down. The next thing too, I teach tracking and mapping. Now that's like a whole nother subject, and this kind of depends. Here's a tracking. Y'all have seen these, right? Okay, so when I get these girls in these groups, this is so important to me. Because if they don't know where they're going, or if they're on track, or if they're off track, how many of y'all have girls come to you and you're like, it's like let's say there's 31 days in the month and it's the 30th, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm at 3,500. You know, and they're trying to like scramble to get their last 500. Does that happen to y'all? All the time? It happens to me all the time. I'm like, did you not look at your tracker? Like, you knew you were a hair behind. Some people don't. So this is why, like, this is one of the crucial things whenever I'm helping girls get pinks and blues. I'm like, I send them these little maps. I'm like, I want you to look at this every single day, because it's super easy. If you know that you're a little behind, to pick it up mid-month versus the last day of the month, they're asking me for like, you know, flash sale photos and like all this stuff to try to scramble and close it. So I teach them, I'm like, always know where you stand. And then the mapping too, I don't know if you'll know about mapping, but I love to map. And I'm not saying you go map a pink status, but like if I have someone that's gonna try to, like they're already a pink status even, and I want them to get to blue, a lot of times they do not understand how they can get blue. They're like, no, that's not gonna happen. But if you can go in, and again, that would be a whole nother subject, but I have mapping videos on YouTube, and you can show them, like, look, you know, Susan here, you have Susan and Kelly, if they sold 500, if they each, you know, bumped it up to 750 and 750, and then you went from 500 to 1,000, you know, you can show them how it can happen. It will click, because I really do believe if people do not believe, like Julie said earlier too, if they do not believe that they can get pink status or blue status, they will not get it. In fact, it just won't happen. Just like black status. If you do not truly believe that you can get black status or purple status or orange status, whatever you're going for, I really don't believe it will ever happen. Same for me. Black status 1. I believed and I've always believed that I will get it. It's not even a doubt in my mind that it'll happen. It's just a matter of when. So you really have to get that in their head too. Like all the stuff, the fundamentals of this, you know, pink and blue status really goes to black. It's all about the belief. So, but I really do think that the mapping and just showing someone really quickly that's pink status, how they can get to blue status. So if you're not in love with your back office and your numbers, you need to learn to love them, okay? Because I really do think it's a huge key to it. So leadership. Let me look at my time. What time do I need to get done? What time do I need to be done? Am I good? Okay. Leadership. So, sorry Jordan, because she had this in her notes too. The 80-20 rule, and I know y'all all heard the 80-20 rule. You need to be working your own business 80%. So, because you do realize, again, if someone comes to you and they can't enroll someone, you know, like they can't get going, but you're not actually doing the things to get people that, you know, they're asking you about, you're not going to help them, okay? And I've had leaders, and they're not having year-to-year growth, and if I go in and I look at them, and I'm like, well, you haven't sponsored, but, you know, maybe 3 people in the last 6 months, your own business isn't growing. And Nicole Smith said it in her top tier elite group the other day. I'm in there, and she said, what did she say? It said, what do you might know? It was like, if you sponsor under 2 people a month, you likely may not have any growth. You may actually see a decrease. Now, I'm not trying to scare y'all, but I'm just telling you, like, y'all have to start doing it. And there's YouTube videos from all the best sponsors. I love Kelsey Stacy's video on sponsoring. She has an amazing video that it's called Live Sponsor Training, I think. But you'll have all the tools and resources. Y'all just gotta apply it. So that's why that 80%. So I think if you did the math on that, if you have 1 hour a day, because y'all realize like, you don't need to work this business 12 hours a day. Not yet. I mean, I still don't probably work it 12 hours. I work it off and on. But if you have 1 hour, I think that's like 42 minutes. I don't have a calculator, but if that's right, I think that would give you 42 minutes that should be spent on your business. 42 minutes. So that's just finding parties, sending a bunch of messages, just all the things that are gonna make your business grow. And then 20% on your team, which is gonna be like messaging them, telling them you love them, giving them shout outs, asking what they need, all that kind of stuff, okay? So 80-20, you're never in boss mode, you're never in management mode. And that's what I see happen so many times, and especially in elite status, we hit green, and you think whoever got you to green, whatever team got you there, you're like, that's what's gonna get me to orange. Then when I get to orange, all those people are gonna get me to purple, and then we're on to black. And it's the hard truth, that is not how it's gonna happen. I have made it a goal, even at black status, to rebuild black every single year. Outside of everything I've done to get black, I try to redo it every single time. So I'm in my 3rd year, and I will rebuild black this year. I'm 1 week short, and I promise you I will make sure it happens. And that's the same thing for y'all. You need to imagine that if you're green status and you're going for orange, you're basically just rebuilding green again. Your girls are still there, and yeah, it's a little more on your plate because you're gonna have to go and unroll. If it took you 20 people to get to green status, you're gonna need another 20 people. So you almost act like those numbers don't exist, and you're starting fresh. You work like you're a new presenter. Every single day you should wake up, even at black, because I'm working for black status 1, I'm not done yet building. I try to work like I'm a new presenter, okay? So that's what you gotta do. You just rebuild, same for orange. To get to orange or get to purple, it's just redoing orange again. It's all it is. And the fundamentals of that are just building a bunch of pinks and blue statuses. Because once you got a bunch of pinks and blue statuses, the next steps Jordan's gonna talk about, it's getting them to elite status. But if you can't build pinks and blues, you also don't even have the circle. You know, that circle goes from 2,000 to 4,000 to 6,000 to 10,000 at black. So you just constantly rebuild. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. But that's what this business is. It is just rebuilding over and over and over and over. And leadership is earned through doing. I have that's a question too. People say, well, how do I get people to listen to me? Like, no one wants to listen to me. And Matt Morris has a video on this. And he says it way better than me, but it's earn through doing. When your team, when they see you earning those incentive trips, or they see you at this kind of stuff, when they see you promoting, they'll listen to you. And I think that when you're inspiring your team, when you're sending them those messages I talked about, when you identify them and you message them, people love to be around people that make them feel good. So of course they're more willing to listen to you if you just paid them and told them that no one on your team is selling $500 a month and that they're a freaking rock star. Of course they're gonna listen to you. They're like, oh gosh, I wanna hang out with you more. So that's why that inspiring is so important too, because leadership really is earned. Okay, it doesn't just come. You don't just get it in your title. If you have actually done your job, you'll have people under you that are better than you. Okay? All of you should hopefully enroll someone that can enroll more people than you, or outsell you, maybe even outrank you. Okay? Harley Reed's outranked me. She's class size 1. She's under me. Yeah, she's better than me. I got a lot of people better than me. But that's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So I just want y'all to understand that I could go on forever on that. But anyway, so doing tasks together combines the 80-20. That's another thing. So you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So whenever you're talking about, those chats or that group or the one-on-one, do it together. Because then you're working your business, but you're helping them work theirs, and you're sisterhooding it, and you're talking about, your kid that just threw up on you or whatever, but you're also doing work together. So you can combine that 80-20 rule by doing stuff together. Okay, so I like this quote, and I always say it: you treat a person as he is, he will remain as he is. Treat him as what he could be, and he will become what he should be. And that's what I would hope that I gave y'all today. I'm not trying to be mean when I was telling y'all you got to build and build and build, and it's a harsh reality. But I just know that all of y'all have it in you. You just got to do it, okay? So again, here's my next quote for y'all. I hear all the time when I'm asking my girls, I'm like, what are you going for this month? What are you wanting to do? And like, well, I hope to sell $1,000 this month. I'm kind of hoping to hit blue. And I hate hope, okay? I don't believe in it, okay? I'm serious. You gotta stop hoping, and you gotta stop, or let's say I wish. I cannot stand it. I had all my girls, we did this thing, they had to make a video where they could not say that. I was like, I'll make you redo the video. You have to say, I'm gonna go for it, or I'm gonna work for it. But there's a big difference in sitting around and wishing that you were black and hoping and praying. You can pray for it too, that's good. But I really do believe you've got to put the legwork in for it, and you've got to go for it, okay? And that means working for it and setting, you are the engine to your team, okay? Not all your team's gonna move at the same pace as you, obviously, or everyone would be black or green with you. But if you're running, there's gonna be some people that want to run with you. And I'm guaranteeing you, all of you have people on your team, like I said, that are cut out for black status, or they're cut out for green, orange, whatever. You just haven't connected with them yet. And y'all only got so much time, okay? Because they are, unfortunately, everyone has shiny object syndrome, and they're gonna see something else, that looks better. So you only have so much time to sit around and do what I just told y'all. So y'all need to do it tonight, as soon as possible, okay? Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, because I was supposed to have some kind of interactive stuff. Okay, I have do I have 5 minutes still? I have 15. Oh, we're good. Okay, will y'all pass out those envelopes? I wasn't sure if I was gonna have time, so I don't want to give y'all the envelopes and then go to waste. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Here's another thing I really love to do for my team. And I'm gonna do this for everyone. And this is people in your circle. So you know how we talked about identifying people. I want you to take the next, let's say 10 minutes. Or even 5. We'll just kind of wing it. 5-10 minutes. And I want you, and if there's extra envelopes, you can just put them on the tables, because some of them might need more than one. But I want you to take the people that you identify. I want you to go, everyone to pull up your back office, okay? All of you got your phones, I know. So pull up your back office. Yeah, everyone pull up your back office. And then all I want you to do is, I want y'all to eventually, for not tonight, I understand, but really the end of this weekend or Monday night, do the identifying and do all this stuff. But I want you to just look in your back office real quick, and I want you to pick at least one person, okay, that has done something really great on your team, okay? And if the greatest you have is they sold $250, that's fine. But I want you to pick someone that's really done something really great. And it could be even that, they have done, 15 parties, whatever it is. I want you to pick someone, and I want you to write them. How many of y'all have ever wrote love notes? None of y'all wrote love notes? I know that. Really? so like, people get annoyed with me. I love writing love notes. Okay, and I'm not talking like a letter. I mean a note. I'm talking 2 to 3 sentences. And I want you to write it to a team member. Okay, so you know that inspiring message? It is even more inspiring when it comes to their door through the mail. How many of you love getting like a letter in the mail? I love it. Like, because all I get is bills and just crap. So like when I get something in the mail that's handwritten to me, Haley Ragsdale does that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it's just very special to me. So I want you all to go in your back office real quick, pick one person. If there's more than one envelope, if you've got, if you left, then you can write 2, whatever. And then put on the envelope, put their first and last name, and then I want you to go get their address and I want you to mail it. You have to promise me you're gonna mail it. Cannot waste envelopes. Okay. I almost brought stamps and stuff, and then I was like, I bet you some of them are not gonna do this actually. But I feel like if I actually will have y'all do it, like, that's gonna be hard for some of y'all. Like some personalities, even me, it's kind of hard to write a love letter to someone. But just pick someone and just write them why they're different to you. I want you to tell them how different they are and what a rock star you think they are. And again, just tear out a piece of paper on your notepad if you need to say it's in the lead training, thinking of you, whatever. Doesn't have to be on fancy stationery. So none of y'all have ever done this? Where y'all never wrote? Oh yeah, okay. I love writing love notes. I write it to everyone. Only special people do that. I didn't even look at my notes. I'm so proud of myself.
Yes, I mean the meeting. I have Western meeting once, but it doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Yes, but this one isn't.
Yes. Okay, so Jessica asked whenever I'm identifying people, if I reach down. So what I do whenever I'm doing the identifying them, I do my entire circle all the way down. Now, I don't really do my entire team. I try to get my elites to do this, and once I have an elite that's not really doing anything, then those girls are like mine. But I do my entire team. Because you know what? I would say half of my elite statuses were actually buried for me. Like my elites were not my front lines. A lot of mine. I'd say probably half of mine. Like Virginia, she was not. But I don't have, there's some others here. Paige was front. But so yeah, whenever you're doing that identifying, you definitely want to go all the way down in there. Oh yeah. Because I've had elites that were like 3 and 4 people under. Yeah, they're weird. So you gotta find them. Did y'all all decide who you're writing? Y'all got yours? I like how you did this last time. Is anyone having trouble writing a note? Is it easy for y'all? Okay, well here's what I'm gonna tell you too. So you're saying it's gonna be one person, 2 people. I would like for y'all, like this is something I do, especially those people that do that 1,000 or like, it kind of depends on the size of your team. Like obviously like my circle is really big now. So it's hard for me to sit down and knock out the time to do it every month. But I do try to pick a few. But if your teams are not huge, you should write to every single person that you can. And again, it's not letters. You're not writing books. You just write just quick little thing. And they'll save it forever. Hope y'all know that. The ones I've sent that they do, I've had people send them to me and say, look what I still have. Or they'll put it up somewhere. It's very special to them. Okay? It is. It really is. Okay, so you think that though, but I haven't always been black. That's what people tell me. They're like, well, it's because you're black. It's special to them. I was not always black. I was always green. But y'all are green too. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to come from someone. Because that's the confidence thing. Y'all think that y'all aren't like, they're not going to think it's a big deal. I promise. I've had people on my team write me love notes, and I think it's the most special thing ever. So it doesn't matter. I promise. They will be so honored. Okay, Joel, write your notes. Hold them up in the air when you get them done. I want to see if y'all actually You got 3. The rest of y'all are still trying to figure out what to say.
Yeah. I got about 10.
Alrighty, I just picked one.
You know what? You guys are not in your pretty paper. Sam, send it in a little beat training. I just tore it out of my spiral.
Hey, Lauren,
Yes.
when you sent them the video, do you have something in the video that you asked them to where you can kind of indicate whether they've actually watched it? Like, do you get a lot of fibbing that goes on, or?
Because they can tell you to trick me, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, they really did. I have nothing. My video doesn't have anything in it. I think I would just know if they didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Because like when it came down to like, because my video is just a follow-up video. I used to do my duplication video, but it's a little more lengthy. But then I was like, you know, because I always felt like if I could get people's toes just wet doing follow-ups, you know, that's kind of like a good way to like get their feet wet without being like, okay, no, go do the 100 nose challenge, you know. I don't know. I guess that when I'm talking to them, I don't know. I mean, I've kind of been tricked already, and I don't even know.
I mean, not that like people are out to like trick you so they can work.
But they could. They'd be like, oh yeah, I totally watched it.
Yeah, they could be like, I watched it. They watched 2 minutes, and then you see that they're not.
I've never even thought about that.
Yeah. Just didn't know.
About to read in my video. Asking serious questions at the end. I do that in my team page sometimes when I want them to watch something completely. I was like, I'm not putting you in what I'm going to tell you about until I know that you've watched the entire thing, and I'll tell them, I'm going to say something at the end. You have to be able to say. I do that when the team page.
That's what I didn't know if
Yeah.
you included something like that.
I don't in that video. I didn't even think about it. But I do that in my team page something. Like it's something I really need them to listen to before we actually go about doing it. Okay, you got yours? Okay. It's about following up with customers. Yes. I just think that if they can do, because I'm asking them about the pink, like when I do that kind of asking them, have you even thought about pink, or do you want that residual income? They are already, because I only send that to people that have sold that 500 usually, and then 1,000. So they know they have customers. They have to, unless they're buying it all for themselves, Yeah, and so, because I really do believe that they can do because customers are my best presenters ever. And so I know that if I can get them just to get their feet wet and send to all the follow-up messages, and it's really simple. Like my follow-up process is like, it's the most simple thing ever. I know if I get them to do that, they can likely get me, because they will get someone to sign up eventually from it.
So you just share what you do with that and tell them to go do that.
Yeah, and then whenever I message them the next day, make sure they actually pass. I hate saying that, pass. It sounds like a test. But I'm like, okay, let's do it. And usually I have follow-ups to do too. I almost always have someone, and I'll say, hey, or I may have already done one a few days ago. So I'll say like, yeah, here's exactly what I just said. I just did one. Because I want them to like really understand I'm doing it too. Or like.
How do you send it to them? Like a YouTube video? Or?
Yeah, I have a link on YouTube. Yeah. My hair keeps getting really flat and frizzy. It's like frizzy and flat.
Welcome to Houston.
I know, it's so humid here. It's humid where I'm from too. Yeah. Oh, let me get behind the podium too, because I don't want my big hips on it.
It's gross here.
Or should I do it? Okay, so did y'all watch the notes? Are we done? I think that was way more than 5 minutes. Okay, so you're going to write these notes to every single person. That's my advice. Obviously, I didn't bring enough envelopes to write for every single person, but put their name on it, and that way you put it in your purse, and I want you to really mail it. Don't just let it sit in there. That's so sad to think about the words that you wrote, and they just sit there and you put them in the trash. So put their name on it and message that person or those people and just get their addresses. WMUs, have you ever heard of Postable? Postable.com is the easiest thing ever. You sign up for it, it gives you a little link, you just shoot it to. I put it in my team page all the time, or my circle page especially, and I'm like, hey, y'all make sure and, just keep your addresses in here, because they never know when I'm going to have a logo I need to send them. Or if I don't have it, I'll just shoot them my link and say, hey, add your address here real quick. And go mail these, okay? So one more time, and we'll be done, and then I think Jordan's coming up, and she's going to tell you how to get all these pinks and blue statuses right now you're going to make to green. So you can beat her at convention for top mentor. So remember, all you're going to do is identify them, 250, 500, 1,000, and other. Okay? It's super easy. And then just the inspiring part, which I think really is the most crucial key. Just shooting them a little message on Facebook, doing your love notes. When people feel love, they'll stick around. And that's what Derek said to us, at Unify. He's like, people stick around for sisterhood. And like Rob was talking to community. Because I know we've all felt, people are leaving. A lot of those people that leave, at least the people on my team I felt that have ever left Unique, I feel like they were out of that sisterhood. I don't know much. I just know you may have had someone that was super in sisterhood and left, but that's at least what I've found. It was someone that wasn't quite in that. So that's why you want to inspire them and ask them, test them, and mentor them. It's super easy. Okay, and if you're doing the task and you're doing it with them, I promise you,
Nachos
your
and
business will flourish
pretzels
and
and-
so will theirs. Okay? So, all right, I think I'm done.